Hello, my dearest friends. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. It really does feel like forever ago that I sat down to film a video, but I'm finally back from a family holiday, and also it's been hectic the past couple of days, so I haven't really had any time to sit down and film, but I'm really excited about this one specifically because it's one of my favorite videos to do on my channel. I think this is the case for many booktubers, to be quite honest. It's the mid-year freak out tag, so the mid-year book freak out tag to be specific. Honestly, I don't know who started this tag, so I don't have any option to tag them below, but I'm going to post the questions below if anyone still hasn't done it, because to be quite honest, I'm quite late with posting my mid-year book freak out tag this year, but I really want to do it. I really want to do like a very good wrap up of what I've been reading the past couple of months, so 6 months. So since the month of June has passed, we're already into the second half of this year. It's really crazy how time flies, and this year, I've mentioned it before in previous videos, I've kind of slowed down my reading. I've read about 85 books in the first 6 months of this year, and I've had, I think, about 15 5-star reads, though some of them were 4.5, leaning towards a 5-star. So if I have to discontinue those, or if I have to take them away from this ranking, then it's about 10 books that I gave 5 stars to, which is all right. I have to say that nowadays for me it feels more difficult to find 5-star reads, but regardless, I've had some fun reads this year, and I definitely have a couple of interesting questions that I get to answer with this tag that, again, I'm going to post below if you by any chance want to do this video on your channel as well, if you have a booktube channel. So the first question is always the most difficult to answer, to be quite honest, because we start with the best book that I've read for the year of 2025 so far. I cannot choose just one. I really cannot. I have about 4, maybe 5 books that I want to mention as books that were true 5-star reads for me that I really am going to end up listing as favorite reads at the end of the year, I think, if nothing really surprises me even more than these books. The first one being Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. This is my first 5-star read of this year. This is the second book within her bourbon making brothers series. And I already loved the first book, but this one seriously really just blew me away. I fell in love with the heroine. I fell in love with the hero, with their love story, with the side characters, with the setting, with the emotions that it gave me. Everything was just right for this one. So this one is definitely a favorite. Then the second book I gave 5 stars to is one that really took me by surprise. I also really loved it. It's The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I think actually this is a debut book by this author, and if that is the case, then I was really blown away by it, to be quite honest. It's a very kind of a toxic, kind of a romantic development of a relationship between 2 figure skaters, and I would really love to reread it, to be quite honest, because it's a really very much a roller coaster type of a story, and I really loved it. So that one is definitely a favorite. And then another one would be Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I know that this one kind of has people divided, whether they love it or hate it, because there are certain things that are quite heavy within this book. Within this book, we've got representation for our heroine who deals with her mother who has dementia. We also have a situation of the whole family having to deal with this, and then specifically the father going through having to lose his loved one to this disease. And it's a heavy read, I have to say, but when I focus on the things that I loved about this book, it's truly a 5-star read for me. So this is definitely a favorite of mine for this year. And then I also have to mention the final book within the Windy City series by Les Dames 40, which is Rewinded Back. I finally have my physical copy over here, so my series is complete. This is, I think, the only series that I have completed in a physical form on my shelf, to be quite honest, because I've loved every single one of these books. And yeah, Rewind It Back was definitely the best kind of a wrap up for this series. We were all looking forward to Rio's story for all of these books, because he was the best kind of a side character in the other books, and we really wanted to see his story unfold. And this was the perfect read for me. It featured also the tropes that I very much love. It's a second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers to strangers to lovers again. So yeah, it was romantic. It was everything that I was looking for in a romance, and I definitely loved it. So yeah, this one definitely makes the top for me as well. I do have to mention maybe two memorable mentions over here. The first one being Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. That one I also gave 5 stars too. It's another emotional kind of a book that features a heroine who deals with grief, and it's a friends to lovers romance. I really love that one. And then I also had a lot of fun with First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. That one I gave 5 stars too as well. And when I think about the progression or the development of the storyline of the heroine within this book, it was just perfection. I really loved it. And the gradual kind of friendship building and then romance between the hero and heroine within that one was also superb. So for me, yeah, I just have a lot of favorites this year, to be quite honest. I'm not mad about it either. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what I'm going to get to read in the later part of the year to see how many more favorites I'm going to add to the list. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2025. Now, I'm going to have to mention 2 books. The first one being Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. I already mentioned that it's a favorite of mine, and it's the second book within the series, the first one being Bourbon and Lies. And yeah, that one is definitely superb. And then the second one is a romantasy book. So in March, I binge read the Kindred Curse saga by Penn Cole. The first book I gave 4 stars. The second and third book I gave 5 stars. So the best sequel for me has to go to Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I was so immersed into that world and those characters' development and growth and romance and everything that was going on within those books. And I'm very much excited about the new release that is going to come out in 2026, I think. So I'm very much looking forward to it. That one was definitely worth it for me. Question number 3 is, what are new releases that you haven't picked up yet but want to? Now, I need to get cracking on the Kings of Sin series by Anna Huang, because I haven't started them yet, but I finally finished Twisted Lies. So I'm finished with her previous series. So I'm going to start on this one this year, I promise, because I definitely want to get to the latest release, which is King of Envy. I've heard nothing but good things about that book. So that one is one that I want to get to. And then also the Wild Side, Wild Eyes, both of them actually by Elsie Silver. I read Wild Love this year, and I definitely want to make some progression into the other books as well, because again, I've heard nothing but good things about those as well. Those are single dad, small town romances. So I'm very excited about those. And I want to get to Bourbon and Proof by Victoria Wilder. It just released in June, but I haven't really had any time to read it physically because there is no audiobook available for it yet. So I definitely need to read the ebook for it, but I'm going to make time. I promise I'm going to make time because I really want to get to that one. And then last but not least, I definitely have to mention Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. I really loved The Fake Out and The Wingman. And now Gloves Off has released just, I think, at the end of June. So that one I want to get to as well. It's a hockey romance that is going to focus on, I think, not the goalie, but one of the defenders this time, Alexei, and he's going to have a marriage of convenience with the team doctor, I think. So it just sounds like a fun, good time to me, and I really like the other books within the series, so I want to continue on. Question number 4 is, what are the most anticipated releases for the second half of the year for me? So I'm going to have to say that the most anticipated release for me is going to be The Strength of the Few by James Islington. This is not a romance, this is a fantasy book. But I loved The Will of the Many so much last year when I read it that I definitely am just looking forward to the release of this book. I actually ordered my copy of The Will of the Many just a couple of weeks ago because it got re-released with a new cover, but then it got cancelled, and it turns out they're going to send me the old cover, I think, because the new cover is not going to come out for a couple of months' time. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to get a physical copy of it, is what I wanted to say, because I definitely want to possibly reread it before I go into The Strength of the Few, to just have a very fresh memory of what happened with those characters. And then another kind of anticipated release, but I do have to say that I'm kind of anxious about it, is Alchemized by Senlin Yu, because I haven't read Manacled. And what's happened lately, a lot of these Harry Potter fan fiction books got picked up and traditionally are going to get released. One of them was by Julie Soto, whom I really, really love, and it was called Rose in Chains, and that one I didn't really love. So that's why I'm a bit anxious about Alchemized, because I just don't want to have my hopes up so much because everyone has been loving Manacled and then get disappointed by Alchemized. But I did pre-order the audiobook for it through Audible, so I'm going to read it for sure. And then I definitely am looking forward to Brimstone by Callie Hart. This is the second book that follows up Quicksilver that I read last year that I really, really loved. So I'm very much looking forward to this one at the end of the year. And when we're talking about contemporary releases, I have Good Spirits by B.K. Borison on my list because the cover is gorgeous and it's going to be a holiday romance, and I'm definitely loving everything that B.K. Borison has been releasing lately. And then another book is People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. I really loved Out of the Woods. At the start of this year, I gave it 4 stars, and Hannah Bonham Young has a very kind of cute, but at the same time emotional, and at the same time very relatable kind of romances, and I really love her writing style, so I definitely want to pick up this one as well. And judging by the cover, I think it's kind of like fall centered, so I definitely want to read that during fall. Now, this is the only kind of a negative question that I'm going to answer within this tag, and that's, what are my biggest disappointments of this year so far? The first one being really my biggest disappointment, it's A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Now, most of the books by Emily Henry I've given 4 or 5 stars, with the exception of Booklovers. So I was really hoping to love this one, but unfortunately I just didn't. So this one is definitely my biggest disappointment. And then I have to mention also Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, because I've very much loved the other books that I've read by this author, but this one just was a miss for me. And then also I have to mention another romantasy, and that is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I enjoyed Powerless, the first book within this series. I highly enjoyed the novella Powerful, but then Reckless and Fearless, I don't know what I mentioned as the book title for the latest book, but I think the last book is Fearless. Those were just absolute misses for me. Specifically, the last book was a 2-star read for me. What they did to one of the characters within this book was an abomination of their character. I really didn't enjoy how this book was wrapped up. I didn't expect this book to go into the direction that it went in, so this one was definitely a miss. And last but not least, I have to mention Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. I actually highly enjoyed Lights Out last year. The audiobook for that one was superb. And I really had high hopes for this one because her books are like dark romance with humor thrown into them with good spice. And this one, while it had some good things, like some good, specifically discussion on sex workers and the way that they should feel comfortable with how people view them and them really enjoying being sex workers, not just having to do it for the sake of doing it. And there were some good things within that book, but just the romance was not it, to be quite honest. So Caught Up was definitely a disappointment as well. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about my biggest surprises. I have to say that one of my biggest surprises was The Faking Game by Olivia Hale. I've read other Olivia Hale books before and I've given them 4 stars, but this one really blew me away. It had tropes that I typically don't enjoy in books, in romance books specifically, but with this one, everything just clicked and worked. This one is a fake dating, brother's best friend, billionaire romance. It features a stalking situation, forced proximity. There's a lot of tropes within this book, but it doesn't feel as tropey as it sounds. And the main thing that really worked for me is the fact that there's amazing communication between the 2 characters, and the fact that there is a lessons in seduction kind of a situation that really, really worked for me in this one. And there's also an age gap. So everything was just wrapped up in a very pretty bow. And when I unwrapped it, it was everything that I wanted and more. So this one was a definite surprise for me. And another surprise was Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This one was a surprise because the other books that I've read within this series were just fine. I liked them and I didn't have high expectations off of this one, but this one was a 5-star read for me. It features a kind of rivals or enemies to lovers situation, forced proximity because they become neighbors, and it's an amazing summery romance with a lot of banter, a lot of fun situations within them. And I just love the romance as well. So this one took me by surprise and I really loved it. Next up, we've got favorite new author, debut, or new to you. Now, I'm going to have to mention Lane Fargo with the favorites. I'm definitely picking up the next book by this author, regardless of what it is, because I just highly enjoyed the writing, and just this book took me by surprise as well, by the way. So I really am looking forward to something new by this author to pick it up. And then another one is Pencol. I definitely was so immersed into the Kindred Curse saga that I'm just anticipating the next book already. I cannot wait for it to be 2026 so I can continue on with the journey. And the fact that I binged, like, one of the books within this series is like 1,000+ pages, and I just binged it and I didn't even notice that it's so long, just says volumes about how much I enjoyed it. So yeah, Pencol is definitely a new favorite author of mine, starting from this year. Now, next up, we're going to talk about newest fictional crush. Now, this year, I have to say, while I love a lot of the men within the books that I've read, one that really stands out for me, one that I actually think about a lot, is Lucas from Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know, the fact that he is a swimmer, and I love watching swimming in general. So the fact that he's a swimmer, the fact that he is Swedish, that he has an accent, that he is into BDSM, I don't know, everything, just the whole package with Lucas works for me. So Lucas is definitely a new fictional crush for me. And then I have to say Luther from the Kindred Curse saga. And also, like, if you just look at the cover of Bourbon and Secrets, the hero from that book is just ticking all the right boxes for me. He has glasses, he's a bit chiseled, and he's a single dad, but at the same time, he's a freak in the sheets. And I don't know, just everything about him works for me. So these 3 are a good top 3, if you ask me. And then the next question is, what is a new favorite character overall? So for this question, I'm going to stick with the ladies that I really loved within the books that I've read. The first one being Faye from Bourbon and Secrets. She is such a vixen, man. I just really loved her, her attitude, her intelligence, her way that she works with her body, but at the same time works with her mind as well. Everything about her works, and her looks and everything just works for me when it comes to Faye. So Faye is definitely a favorite of mine. And then Hendrix from Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I feel like Kennedy Ryan writes the most amazing female characters that you can encounter in romances. To be quite honest, she has representation for what every single one of us feels at a certain time in their life. And Hendrix is such an unapologetic kind of a fierce woman that I just really loved her. The fact that she's also very raw and real and vulnerable. Everything about her worked for me. I really loved Hendrix. And then the last one is a fun one for me. I really loved Nina from Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. She's again very unapologetically herself and very much a fierce, strong, sensual, loving, just a badass heroine. I don't know how to just label her, to be honest. She's just an amazing kind of a heroine. I really, really loved her. So yeah, these ladies were definitely ones that I had so much fun with, and could definitely appreciate their traits and their characteristics. So yeah, these were favorites of mine for sure. Now, the next topic is books that made me cry. I have mentioned on this channel before that books can easily make me cry. However, lately, I haven't had a lot of books to make me cry. I have had two that I can remember. The last couple of months, the first one being Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the latest book within her Hunger Games world. Now, everyone knew with this book, with it being Hamish's book, that is going to be emotional and kind of damaging. So it's no surprise that it made me emotional and made me cry. So this one was definitely one that tore at my heartstrings, to be quite honest. And then the next one is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, this book I didn't think was going to make me cry, to be quite honest, but then literally at the, I think like 90 or 95% mark, a certain scene happened and it made me cry. And I cannot deny it. It made me cry. I really, really highly enjoyed this book as well. And in the end, it turned out to be an emotional one. Now, let's forget about books that made me cry. Let's talk about books that made me happy. The first one being Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. I've already mentioned that the heroine is the best kind of a heroine. The hero is also the best kind of a hero. And the fact that the book starts with the heroine just happily dating around and not being sorry or ashamed for it, really saying like, I don't think any of these guys can give me all I want, so I'm just going to go ahead and date each and every one of them according to what they make me feel and what they bring to the table. I really love that. I haven't really seen that in other books and done in such a genuine and unapologetic way. I really, really loved it. So this one was one that really made me happy. And then another one is Rewinded Back by Liz Tom 40. I have to say that this whole series, I was just giddy. I was giddy reading every single book within this series, and the fact that we got Rio's book, the fact that it very much featured a lot of music that influenced their relationship. I really love that aspect of the book, and just their romance in general made me happy. So this one definitely makes it when it comes to books that made me happy. And also another one that just recently came on my radar is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. The setting, the heroine can easily be a favorite heroine of mine as well, because she's again unapologetically, relentlessly herself, and I really love that about her. So Problematic Summer Romance definitely made me really happy. Now for the next prompt, which is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I don't really buy a lot of physical books, to be quite honest. I really, really try to only buy books that I really, really loved or highly enjoyed. try to limit myself because I don't have a lot of space, and I really want to invest only in books that I really want to have in my library. I did buy a copy of Deep End, which has sprayed edges, by the way, and they're gorgeous. I love this book. I know it divided a lot of people on the internet. Everyone was talking about this book, whether they loved it or hated it. But for me, it was a really perfect read when it comes to an alley book. And it does have a very beautiful cover, in my opinion. Like the colors and the water drops that you don't see on camera, I think are really, really perfect. So this one I really like. And then I bought a novella by Carissa Broadbent that has a gorgeous cover as well. It's Six Scorched Roses within her Nyaxia world. I still need to read this one, but I've loved almost every single one of the Nyaxia world books. So I think I'm going to love this one as well. So yeah, it's really pretty. And it's a hardcover. So, and it has something inside like a step back. Let me open it up. It's really pretty as well. So yeah, I really love this one as well. So yeah, I did buy a copy of The Favorites. What else did I buy? Rewind It Back. I bought Say You Remember Me, but that cover is just illustrated generic, not really the prettiest, to be quite honest. What else did I buy? I did buy a copy of Quicksilver, which was a release from last year. I bought King of Envy. And that is all I bought this year. To be quite honest, I've been really good about not buying too much. Did I buy anything else? Oh no, I did buy Wild Side and Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, but those are again kind of generic covers, not really too pretty, if I can say it like that. But I haven't bought a lot of books this year, but these two are ones that I really like. The last question off of this tag is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And this is such a tricky question for me because my TBR is never ending, obviously, but also I'm such a mood reader. I'm going to tell you these 5 books today, and then tomorrow they'll not be on my radar anymore because I'm fixated on another set of 5 books. So I hate that I'm this way, honestly. Because if I were to rewatch, I think, last year's mid-year book freakout tag, I probably have mentioned books that I haven't read in a year time, which is just horrible, horrible. But at the same time, what can you do? These 5 books I'm putting on here because they've been on my radar for the last couple of weeks, so I really do hope to finish them soon. And the first one being Do Me a Favor by Kathy Yardley. I haven't shut up about role-playing by Kathy Yardley on my channel, so I really want to pick up this book by this author as well. I have it on my Kindle and I want to read it. It just doesn't have an audiobook, and I don't have a lot of time to read physically lately, so that's why I've been putting it off, but I really want to read it. Another one that just recently came on my radar because Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life said that it was a surprising good read for her. And this one just recently got uploaded as an audiobook for me. The book is called Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. This one, it has like a graveyard on the cover. So I think it's like a romantic comedy kind of a situation. I'm not sure. I didn't really remember what the plot was about, but I do remember Crystal saying that it was a good read. So I definitely want to read this one. And then the next one is one that I've mentioned on my list last year for sure, which is The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. But I actually am starting on this one soon, like today or tomorrow, because I'm finishing up another audiobook and then I am just fixated. I really want to finish this book once and for all. So I'm going to be picking this up soon. And then another book that I have a physical copy of for a while now, and I also have the audiobook for it, is The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wang. I actually read Blood over Brighthaven at the tail end of 2024 and really loved it. So I definitely am looking forward to reading another book by this author, and I'm sure that I'm going to love it as well. And then another book that I've been seeing popping up everywhere is On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. Boleyn. I don't know how to pronounce the last name of this author, to be honest, but I did purchase the audiobook for this one through Audible because I don't have any time to read the physical book. And because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it, I want to see what the hype is about, and I really hope that I love it. I don't want to hear about the plot. I think it has to do with vampires, I think, but I'm just looking forward to seeing whether it's worth the hype or not. So these 5 books are on my radar to finish by the end of the year. Let's see how well I'm going to do. I don't have the best track record when it comes to making TBRs and finishing books off of those TBRs, but I'm gonna do my best. All right, my dearest friends, these were all my answers for the mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'm back. I hope that I can really steadily start to upload videos again. It's just been very hectic in my house, specifically in the summer. I'm just not at home a lot. We go out a lot with my son and my partner, so I just don't have a lot of time to film. And like I mentioned, I've also kind of slowed down my reading, so I've just been enjoying life, to be quite honest with you, but I'm going to make it a point of trying to upload consistently because I do have a lot of ideas planned. I actually have something that I'm going to tell you a bit of a surprise. I am creating an original tag that I plan to bring out on my channel soon. I just want to have the best possible questions for it, and I'm going to hopefully be able to roll this out in the month of July so that I hope many people can enjoy and then also participate in it. So this is something that I'm planning, and also a couple of recommendation videos that I already have lined up. So I'm going to do my best to really consistently upload so you can enjoy a lot of book recommendations from me as usual. I hope you enjoyed this one again, and I do hope to see you in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care.